Let's begin by queering up the USA view. Massachusetts Governor Healy launches billboards in Florida and Texas encouraging LGBTQ+ to move. Massachusetts is buying billboard spaces in places like Florida and Texas with a clear message for Pride Month. The billboards say, Massachusetts for us all, and feature pictures of LGBTQ+ couples in the Bay State. The billboards will also be put up in New England and New York. In the recently issued statement, Maura Healey said that in the current situation when many states are restricting LGBTQ+ rights, Massachusetts is proud to be the safe and welcoming state. The statement said, quote, to anyone considering where they want to live, raise a family, visit, or build a business, we want you to join us here in Massachusetts, end quote. Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll said the state is a year-round destination for all and an inclusive place for LGBTQ+. The largest LGBTQ+ rights organization in the country issued a Florida travel advisory in May. The Human Rights Campaign says newly passed laws are hostile to the LGBTQ+ community and may pose risk to gay travelers. The group also says there are more than 100 bills in the Texas Legislature that could be discriminatory, including measures that would ban drag shows and gender-affirming care. Oh, wow. I thought we were the only ones in a horrible place, and we really are not, right? And so I have to say that, and it's a weird feeling, right? Because I am one of those people that's going to go down with the ship. Folks, there's people who are leaving the state right now, and I respect them. And there are people that have children and want a better life for their children, right? So maybe if I had children, I would be leaving also, but I ain't going nowhere, right? So folks, here's the thing. If you want to go somewhere, Massachusetts is open and ready and welcoming for you to go, Massachusetts has P-Town. Massachusetts has Boston. Massachusetts has Worcester. Massachusetts has some amazing food, okay? If it wasn't for that little pesky winter that you guys get every year, I would really consider going up to Massachusetts.
Hey, it's not
Mr.
that,
Bobby.
It's not that bad. I mean, I used to live in Boston. I lived in Boston for like 7-8 years.
You saying Boston makes me shiver, Bobby.
Oh, come on. You know what? One word. Just one word. Cashmere. And trust me, that works every time. But anyways, I mean, I would love to move to Massachusetts governor, if you can just, provide some subsidies, because that place is expensive.
You're right.
But also, I want to point out that despite the travel advisory, I implore my fellow LGBTQ person across America, you can come to Florida. There are 2 places that are safe for you: Orlando, Disney, and Broward County. We are solidly blue. You will be safe here. You'll be in a safe space. Fort Lauderdale and Wilton Manors are extremely welcoming. We will welcome you with open arms, and this is not a joke.
Like I don't want any of the business people to be affected by by people not coming to the state, right? But it's also a lie if we tell people that it's not dangerous here. I'm sorry, I got Black and brown sisters that are getting killed at a alarming rate. You know what I mean? But when I tell somebody not to come here, I wouldn't say don't come here. I would say be careful while you're here, right? Like find a safe space.
I think that, and I echo your point about people leaving the state. I would encourage you, and I've said this before, I would encourage you to please stay. We only win when we stay, when we vote, when we use ourselves as a force multiplier, when we get 3 people who are on the fence of democratic politics, or on the fence of like, well, gay rights doesn't really affect me, abortion doesn't affect me, whatever. Please stay. You can make a difference. You just have to stay and talk to people and live here and learn to be part of your community, because we need to take back our communities, make them our own. I understand certainly with children, especially trans children at this point, but courts are starting to roll back all the unchecked legislation that's been passed these last couple of years, drag bans, banning trans care. The courts are starting to say enough. And, before you decide to move to Massachusetts, go in January, because trust me, I've had frostbite on all 11 of my extremities.
Oh my Lord!
I'm not leaving, right? This is like, it's beautiful. I live in South Beach. It's beautiful. There's no place in the country like it. And I'm not leaving. But I do hope that, when a governor of another state pays money, billboards are expensive. They can cost like close to $500,000 to put up, to say, hey, if you need to get out, get out. This, I hope it's showing the people that live in Florida that this is not a joke.
Yeah.
We're in trouble here. It's 2023. We have a public servant who's pretending like he can dehumanize us and make us less than full citizens in a free country. Yeah. Fascism is not acceptable. Too many people, I find, down here, have been taking this like it's a joke. There has never been LGBTQ rights statewide in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. This is ridiculous. Yeah. There are whole third world countries that have full LGBTQ rights. Yeah. They don't have them in Florida. They never have. This is not acceptable. And I hope this is a wake-up call to people who are going to stay, that when you stay, you have to also get involved and help us fix this stuff. This is not acceptable. It's not an acceptable way to have to live.
This is our place too. We're not living to let them rule the place where we come to love. I came from a different country, like probably many of us here, so I can tell, that, things have gotten worse than they used to be, but this is way better than many places around the world where people escape to come here, and we're not going to let them now change and reverse our rights, so to go back to live like they do in several, less desirable countries because of the human rights violations. And we are not going to let that happen if we leave. And I hear this from many friends of mine, particularly in California. They say, why are you still living in Florida? Why don't you come to California? And I mean, there's some truth to it. Maybe I love California. I love Massachusetts. If I could move to, P-Town and it's like South Beach year round, the weather.
But this is our home, right?
This is my home.
You know what I would like to see? If we're going to spend money to lure people away from their home states, let's spend money to lure 300, 400,000 Californians to put 100,000 in Pennsylvania, 100,000 in Michigan, 100,000 in Wisconsin, 100,000 in Minnesota. That locks up those states and keeps California safe. We need to boost ourselves in the states where we can still win. If we're going to lure people out, get them to places where their vote's going to matter. Because right now, Florida is a red state, and it's just not coming back anytime.
And you mentioned the businesses, and as much as I would feel bad for businesses that, a lot of the businesses in Florida support the governor, so I don't feel bad. You're right. And we have to stop pretending like this stuff is okay. Yeah. And really, that's the only time when we can really move the needle in pretty fast is when a business's bottom line is being felt. Right. Yep. And so those travel advisories that the Hispanic organization put out, the NAACP put out, the HRC put out, these are not jokes. No. They're saying, hey, this is a very serious situation we have going on here. If the businesses have to hurt a little bit, maybe they'll get their friends to change the vote. Maybe they'll think more about how they're voting, because people can say, I have actually sat in meetings and heard people go, well, they put out those advisories, but we still got heads and beds in the hotel, so it's okay. And I had to raise my hand and go, wait. So it's okay that I don't have civil rights as long as you're still making money in your hotel? No, that's not okay. I really don't care about your hotel. Yeah. Like, I'm a full human being. I'm going to get all my rights. No, you're I don't care about your business.
Look, I got to tell you a huge accomplishment that I made over the weekend. And I think that if everybody was able to do this, we would be in a better place, right? So I have talked somebody into not voting. A Republican that is a Trumper, that I was like, look, how are you doing this? If you love me, you can't vote for someone that wants me erased. Right. Okay? And he was just like, but I have to vote Republican. I was like, okay, how about we found a way, and the middle ground was that he's not going to show up to vote. And I'll take that.
That works for me.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.